My name's Krista Golden. My husband is pastor at River Life Church, and I'm going to share with you some of my life story. Right now people are unsure of what's going on, but in our home, Tom always says, let's have, our church is a safe place, our home is a safe place, and a safe place includes, you're not going to be scared in a safe place. You're not going to worry. So our home has been very calm during all of this. Yes, we've made some adjustments with everything that's going on right now, but still, there's joy and there's laughter and there's peace and safety, and we're enjoying every minute that we can with our kids and our adjustments and our work schedules and things, and we're here for the church. We're here for our people. We live in a world of technology that is so easy to communicate through texting and calls and Facebook and FaceTime, and there's no reason to not stay connected with people during this time. So for that, we're thankful, and it's a good thing. To start with, I grew up in a very rural area in Allen County, Ohio. We had a Lima address, but we lived, it was 10 to 15 minutes outside of town. Grew up on a road where you only go on that road unless you live there or you're going to visit somebody. Very few houses, farmland. It was a great place to grow up. We played outside a lot. We really just enjoyed our growing up. I had a younger sister, younger brother. I had a mom and dad who were great. Our home was very peaceful. Calm. It was fun. My dad worked very hard. My mom stayed home with us kids. She did do some different things like babysitting, or she did a lot of sewing, so she would do craft shows, and she would do alterations for people and things like that, just to make a little extra money on the side. But we always knew that she was going to be there. When we were little, she was always there. When we came home from school, we knew she was going to be there, and they both really did a lot for us. And some of my greatest memories are going to my grandma's and going swimming. In the summer, we were there all the time, just swimming and having a great time. And we would, whether we were home or at grandma's, we would blow bubbles, and we would fly kites, and we would go fishing in the pond. We would color. We would play games, lots of games. I still love playing games. We were just always doing something. Mom always made a nice meal. We would sit down at the table together. We were always at church. Whenever church was open, we were there. For many years, my mom cleaned the church, and everything she did it to the highest and best that she possibly could. And sometimes we'd go and help her, and I'm sure we grumbled about that. But Mom and Dad did always teach us to do our very best in everything that we did. I don't ever remember my mom and dad arguing, and I'm very thankful for that. And we were pretty sheltered, I would say. We really had a great life. I feel like they protected us from a lot of things, and it was just a great way to grow up. The house I grew up in was a house that my mom and dad built. They did have some things done by professionals, but mostly they built the house themselves. There wasn't much that either one of them couldn't do. My mom would always figure out a way to find out how to do something, and my dad had many talents, and probably should have paid a lot more attention to them, but I was a kid. So it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, and we spent a lot of great times there. As I got older, I had brother and sister and my mom and dad, so the 5 of us in the house. They decided that they wanted to build a house a little bit bigger in the field behind us, so they bought the land. Our house sold immediately. The first people that walked in said, "We want it," and so Mom and Dad bought a single-wide trailer and put it on the property behind us and started to build our new home. So I was in high school at this time, and it took them about 1.5 years to complete it, because like I said, they did most of the work on this home also. And so it was a great life. We went to then a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home with a lot more space, and again, we just had a great growing up. And something that my dad and mom always made us do was, if we started something, we had to finish it. If you wanted to do softball, you didn't, and then you decided you didn't want to do softball, you didn't just quit. You had to complete the season. Then they would say, if you don't want to do it again, that's fine, but you always had to complete what you started. Once I started working, they would say, my dad would say, don't ever quit unless you have something better that you're going to, and definitely always give your appropriate notice. And I know that those things that I learned from my mom and dad have helped me my entire life, as far as work ethic and treating people the way that I want to be treated. And so not too much longer into my high school years, Tommy Golden from down the road came into my life, and we had known each other our whole lives. However, he had asked my dad if he could take me out, and we were not allowed to date when he was ready to date me because I was too young. But he came to the house and would hang out at the house for a few months while he was in college, and after that he went off to Missouri to Central Bible College, and so we went our different ways. And one day I was outside with my brother and sister. We were out in the front yard, and he came home, a visit home from college. He was in his truck, and he was out on the road and stopped to say hello. And so he rolled down the window. We walked down the road a little bit, and then shortly after that he asked my dad if he could take me out on a date. So we went out, and we're together ever since then. We started dating and seeing each other as much as my mom and dad would allow, and we dated about 3 years and went ahead. I went to school. This is something else that's important. I went to school for, well, when I was young, I wanted to be a nurse. I always said I wanted to help people, and I would put on my little kindergarten papers, I want to be a nurse and help people. And my sister was 9, and she broke her arm on a dirt bike that I had broken my arm on when I was 9 on the same dirt bike. And so I was 12 at the time. We were at the CAS clinic in the hospital in Lima, and all of a sudden there was just a lot of activity and curtains, and I could see people, and it was just making me feel uncomfortable, but I didn't know what was going on. So all of a sudden I got very, very hot, and I told my mom, I'm really hot, I'm really hot. She's like, it's okay, we're almost done, we're going swimming at Grandma's when we leave here, it's okay. Well, next thing you know, I passed out, hit my head on the concrete floor, and just straight went back, hit my head on the concrete floor. So I had to, from there on, change what I wanted to be when I grew up. Became a joke, hold on to Krista, we're going in, I decided, because I still liked the idea of the medical field, I really enjoyed typing. I was pretty fast at typing and was good at it. I liked it. So I thought, well, I'll go to school for medical transcription. So I went for 2 years to the community college there, and I got my medical transcription certificate. I didn't have any experience. Unless you had 5 years experience or knew someone, you couldn't get a job. We knew God would take care of us. However, we had to make good choices, and I had to, financially help the two of us out. So I would work in orthodontic offices and dental offices and things like that. Had great jobs, treated very well. So there's been many, many times over the years that we've had to just trust God. When we moved to Texas, I didn't know anyone. So we just had to trust that was the best plan. I had to follow what Tom was saying when he felt like, God was telling him to go down there and finish school, and he ended up getting a job. We stayed there 3 more years after that, so we lived 4 years in Texas. It was hard on our families for us to be so far away. However, it was very good for Tom and I because it brought us close together. We only had each other. There's many times where maybe there wasn't the money to pay the bills, and all of a sudden a check would come in the mail and it would cover the bill that we had. So all through our life we have always had everything that we've needed, and even a lot of things that we wanted, and we're very, very thankful for that. So I had to go get a hat because the sun's a little bit bright and it was hard to not squint. So Anyways, we were very blessed our entire marriage. Tom and I have been married 21 years, 22 years this coming July. We've always taken marriage very seriously, and I've stuck to our vows. And there have been times where I know Tom shared many times, where he went through some hard years, some years where he was depressed and was just having trouble dealing with life. And at the time I was working part-time to full-time. We had little kids, and we just had to trust God to get us through it and encourage each other and be there for each other and do what we needed to do. And I'm thankful that God was always there for us. And with our kids, just trying to, a lot of things, you grow up, you are either going to carry what you learned with you, or you're going to stop, break the chain of things that you didn't like in your home. And thankfully, I was able to carry on things that I learned when I was young. One of those things being really just only focus on the important things. And if someone makes a mess, the kids make a mess, it's okay. Let's just clean it up. And my mom was always, she never, yelled at us, got onto us for if we made a mess. It was just, all right, let's, you spilled that, let's just clean it up and move on with life. And I think that those are important things to instill in our kids, is really just to focus on what's important and not be uptight in life and things like that. And so we've lived in Texas, we lived in Ohio, now we've been in Florida for over 6 years, and really feel like we're doing what God wants us to do. And when we're doing what He wants us to do and obeying Him, He blesses us. And we have been very blessed, and we're very, very thankful to be here in Dunnellon, Florida with River Life Church. And we're very thankful for everyone who's come into our lives, friends and friends that have become like family. And we're just very thankful, and we're continuing to trust God's blessing our church, and He's blessing our family. We have wonderful kids, and we have a lot of fun with them. We have a lot of life lessons with them and talks with them. They're good workers, good work ethic, and we're very, very thankful for that. And I would encourage you to spend time with your kids and spend time with your husband, and whatever you're doing, work at it hard, work at it as unto the Lord, not unto men. And just do your best to have a positive outlook, a positive attitude, no matter what's going on, because there's always something to be thankful for. And one of my favorite verses is, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, Philippians 4:13. And we really can do that. Something that it changes your perspective when you're going through something, and you might have heard something your entire life, or at least heard it over and over and over. It feels like, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. When I was going through all of this issue with the concussion, that word "through" just like stuck out to me like never before, and I've heard that many times in my life. But it was just a good reassurance to me that I'm just going through this. It's not going to be here forever. And that really was a big help to me. And I'm thankful for that God sends us those things, to help us and highlight it. And it was like it was on a big billboard, just like blowing, up at me that through. So I'm thankful for that, very much so. And, something else, God's everywhere. If we are looking, I think a lot of times we're just not looking. And I've seen a lot of signs, through different things that He really is there. And one of the things, a day I wasn't feeling well, and I was lounging in our friend's pool, and I looked up through the screen, and there was a perfect shaped heart cloud. And I was like, all right, thank you, God. I know that you love me, and you got this, and you're going to take care of me and get me through this. And I can't tell you, I have seen hundreds of hearts, and I feel like that's His sign to me. Like I said, that He's got this, and He cares for me, and He is love, and He's in control. And I've seen it in, paint on a chip of paint. I've seen it in a chip. I've seen it in I mean, anything that you can think of on a tree, on a piece of bark, I've seen hearts, and I just feel like, that's really something that has been assigned to me, and I'm thankful for that as well. Just one last thing to end it. I talk a lot about being positive. It doesn't mean that there's not hard things in life. It doesn't mean that life's not fair. It doesn't mean any of those things. So, but the more that our minds are very, very powerful. So the more that we focus on good things, the more that we fill our minds with good, the less room there is for the negative to come in, and the things that are not good things to think and dwell on. So I just want you to remember that. There's a saying, I forget how it goes, but something about I'd rather be annoyingly optimistic than destructively negative is an example of what it might have said. But I would rather be like that, and it's just much better to be around someone like that. Do I slip up? Absolutely. But I do try my very, very best. And just to end it on just a verse I wanted to share with you. Finally, whatever things are true, whatever things are honorable, whatever things are just, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. So do your best. Whatever you're doing, do your best and try to think on those things. Thank you so much.